Alrighty. Welcome everyone. So good to have you with us this evening. Tonight is a little bit extra special. Thought we'd open it wide for those of us on the outside that aren't quite yet on the inside. We've been working pretty hard behind the scenes, Dad and I, developing things, taking it all to the next level. So we've got a whole bunch that have been tracking, giving us feedback, working on this thing. And we thought tonight, oh, what the heck, we'll just widen it out and see who wants to come and see what's up. So we have released version 2 of TRENDFORCE a couple weeks ago, had a really cool live event as well last weekend, had a bunch travel from all over the place, Zeph being possibly the furthest from Tokyo. Good to see you, bro. And with that, invited everyone in the squad to give some feedback, because this is the beauty of it. Dad, being a very high-level developer at this point with the coding, can make adjustments day to day. And so we've made some adjustments, released that last night, and so Dad's going to take us through tonight all the little bits and pieces, the emojis, all the things that make this extremely unique, and then from there go on to share what the rules are, because we've chopped those down as well to make it more and more simple. But if you're watching this tonight with us live or on YouTube later, and you're a little bit new to the trading space and how it compares to investing and all that, don't worry, some things might fly over your head, but what I'm busy working on behind the scenes right now is a brand new course. I'm taking the tens of thousands of dollars I've spent on learning from educators online and around the world, distilling it down to the most basic principles that you need to learn to be able to trade the way that we trade. So the plan is to be able to launch that at the end of Feb, so a month from now. So in the meantime, we're just going to show you what's up and get everyone rocking and rolling with what we have already. So without further ado, Dad, I'm going to find you in the chat and pin you to the screen. If you can unmute yourself, that'll make it easy, because there's a lot. Good to see you all, guys. There we go. And pin. Gotcha. Good stuff. All right. Well, everyone, tonight's going to be a whole lot of fun. Dad, you can share your screen, do your thing. I'm excited. I've based on the last few days of back testing and looking at this thing perform, the bits of fluff that we've chopped out, it has never looked this good, and it just feels more and more ready. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys. Drop some love in the chat for Dad. Let's rip into it.
There we go. So not sharing screen yet, but welcome everyone. It's great, and some extra people having a look. It's really awesome to have you join us. This has been a great journey. And as TASS said, so appreciate the awesome feedback we get. You know, we just cannot tell you how much we appreciate being part of a community, getting feedback. You know, the initial people that have joined, that being our kind of we call them our beta testers. Etienne named that expression. So we really appreciate our beta testers that have been at work giving feedback. And it's really looked well. When TASS said the fluff is gone, when I looked at it, it kind of reminded me of Tyron after his good haircut, you know, looking really sleek, no fluff. Looking really good. There we go. Come on, Ty, looking really good. I'm getting a haircut later in the week. But it's been great, you know. It's been this awesome journey of learning together, getting feedback, and of course, developing our own indicator. We are so unique. There's a real niche. There's no one, we don't know anyone else in the world who's got something like what we're building, where we are a community of traders learning, trading together, and we got like sort of me, the developer, in the midst, getting feedback and making this thing really good. So I'm so encouraged about these latest changes. Hopefully most of you have locked them down, and you've got it already loaded up and ready to go. But that's, I thought, man, the big picture of the whole thing, you know, is financial freedom. You know, TASS really had that vision right from the beginning, is that we want to get free from the rat race, you know, and trading is just a wonderful way that you can break free from the rat race, and you can really, you know, earn good money only working a couple of hours a day. You know, I was meeting with an old friend over lunch today. We connect kind of once a year, and he was intrigued about this journey we're on. And when I told him the possibilities, he was pretty blown away. And so it's really worth it. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes an investment. But I tell you, if you can crack this, it'll really set you up for financial freedom. I mean, just this morning, we've had family staying with us. I haven't really been on the charts in the last few days, but I just jumped on quickly. I saw a good setup, jumped in, and just in 15 seconds, you know, I reached my target. I mean, because I'm kind of semi-holiday, you know, with people staying with, I just had a lower lot size, but basically I covered probably a week and a half's petrol in 15 seconds. So, I mean, there's just incredible possibilities in trading to learn, to grow, and to develop a skill where you can earn money and be flexible and earn anywhere in the world. And so I thought I'd just throw that, you know, remind us of the big picture. You know, we don't want to give up a 9-to-5 job and go back to 9-to-5 sitting in front of a screen. The idea is that if you can, you know, go for 2 hours a day, you can probably earn a living if you can master the skill. And that's what we're about. We're here to train, to encourage, to help people with good education on how to be profitable traders. And so that's why we've developed TRENDFORCE, you know, our indicator, which we're very excited about, especially, you know, the updates. So it's been a major cleanup, So I've been on holiday, I suppose in inverted commas. I've been using my holiday time to to work on the indicator to tidy it all up, and it's really come out well. Really, it's I've said to Ty, we've probably reduced the noise by 50%, which is massive. And so it's really been refined, it's been tuned. And except for the actual counter trend signal, for those who with the journey, except for the actual counter trend signal, you would hardly get counter trend signals, other icons and things appearing at the wrong time. So we really do want to emphasize the safest way to trade is with trend. So we've even fine-tuned it more, that it really flows well with trend, and it's a whole lot more cleaner. And I just want to thank a shout out to Mike Oosthuizen. I think he's on tonight in Australia. He said, can we do counter trend signals? And I mean, I had to really scratch around and make some space, but we've now got a counter trend signal. I mean, we're limited to the number of outputs. We've really maxed this thing out, but I managed to squeeze in one counter trend signal. So it's one, whether you're up or down, it's going to show. So
you mean counter trend signal alerts, right?
Alerts. So yeah, sorry, counter trend. Thank you, Ty. Corrected me there. We got an alerts for our counter trend signal. So there's alerts. So you can set up alerts now. And he's been doing some back testing, and it's pretty accurate. I mean, we'll look at some examples tonight, but you can now set an alert. So your phone can beep or wherever you get your beep, and you can see and activate your counter trend trade. And so the key is, I want to say again, there's no solution for range. Common question is, some people say, gee, the bar signal flashed on, then it flashed off. I mean, that will happen, but that should be a warning that you're in range. That won't happen when the market is trending. And there's no indicator on the planet that can get rid of false signals, especially in range. And so this is the beauty. When this indicator is trending, there'll be zero noise, just the essential signals you need either to enter a trade or to re-enter if you missed the first entry. You'll look at some examples. And plus, if you see a lot of signals and icons popping off, step aside. That's like your warning sign. If it does look like a Christmas tree, it means you're in range. And so there's that sign, that saying in trading, which is ranger danger. So there's no shortcut. There's nothing that, you just got to sit through range and wait for the market to move again. The only thing I couldn't do is to remove the vertical lines between the pivots. We'll look at that later. That was just not possible. But basically, everything else is the same. I think, Ty, I'll just go to sharing my screen now. So if you can empower me to share my screen. And I think, what am I looking at? Trading View, I'm on gold now. I think this is the one I probably want. Okay, so can you see a screen with gold? That should be coming out now. Gee, this is looking really good. Look at this. Look at this beautiful screen. This is now our new version. So this is what's been happening to gold in a little while. This is really great. So look here, there was a bar signal. I mean, I'll go through some of the icons, but look, a beautiful bar signal. Now, this is the beauty of this, of how we updated. Can you see there was a counter trend, a big, big pullback, and there were no signals. So that's why the updated version 2 is way safer. You wouldn't have been tempted to get in to any part of this trade because there's not one signal from the peak when it hits the 1 hour trend zone all the way down. Can you see no signals? You get a slight signal when you break the 233, but that's not really a bar sell signal. There was a bar signal there, but maybe we'll analyze that at the end when we look at signals. But then you get this beautiful sell signal. And for those who've been with us, you will notice that this sell signal is bright red. So normal sell signal is dark red, you can see. So when you get a bright red signal, it means price is going to drop. And look at this beautiful trade. I mean, that fell, hit TP3, look at that, for 221 pips. So that was a great trade on gold. And here we see there's a counter trend signal and price is moving back up. There would have been 87 pips there with the gold measurement on pips. So you can see immediately some changes. So I've reduced the opacity. That was when I said, are the pivots too bright? Everyone put their hands up. It was difficult not to get hurt and offended. No, just kidding. I normally like things bright, but I've listened to the feedback. And so you can see now here's the S3 daily, and it's far more subtle. Hopefully with the transmission on the Zoom, it's coming out well. But we've dimmed all the pivots. If we look at the other pivot points, there's S2. You can see I've taken the opacity down to 50%. So immediately the chart looks like less busy. If this was like a few weeks back, this would have had a whole lot of false signals popping off everywhere. and the blinds would have been bright. Also the POC, we can see also reduced the opacity to half strength. Now remember, with the indicator, you can customize your colors completely. So under style, you can see now all the pivots here have been dimmed to 50%. And as well, you can see the POC. If you like it bright, for example, if you don't like 50%, you can ramp it up. And you can see now it's gone bright orange, so bright yellow, sorry. So everything you can adjust and change, but you are loving the look. Look how accurate this POC is. Look here. Woohoo! I got the calculations right. You can see price tested this for how long? Look, we're doing a bit of price action while we're talking here. It tested my POC for 20 minutes, couldn't break through. So, and then price rejected that line, shut up, countersend signal there for a few pips. All right, so almost everything really stays the same. So if we just quickly, we're going to have a rundown. So our main trend zones are 3-minute, 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. Those remain exactly the same. So under style, you know, you can edit the thicknesses. These remain unchanged. So the basic strategy, nothing's changed with our strategy. We've just simply done, you know, tightened it up and removed some excess signals and then refined some others that I'm going to talk about tonight. So the basic trend zone, you know, we want to trade with trend. We want our trends aligned. And so we can see now that we're not quite aligned. Over here, we got orange, which means we're between the zones. If it was bright green, that would be good. It means clear to buy without risk, and red, sell. That also means low risk, you know, for selling. But orange, you've got to be wary because we are between some of the zones. So some of those things have not changed. I want to focus, though, on just a few important things. So let's have a look here. So if you look at buyer and seller momentum, and I'll look at the up on gold now, we look at the Dow too. So you'll see here we have got our little diamonds here, buyer momentum, seller momentum, a green diamond and a red diamond. I've got rid of the false signals. So the whole chart is going to look way, way tidier. And so these, I want to say that with the buy and sell signal, plus the diamonds, and also we're going to look at a bit more detail, if I can just scroll over here, our boost up and rocket signals. These little explosions and rockets, I've adjusted these. I'm going to just show how important they are, but these serve really as buy and sell signals too. I really back them for accuracy. So that's these diamonds here, buy and seller momentum. And the strength of this, they are like buy and sell signals, just almost as powerful, along with our boost signals. And so I'll show you tonight just how strong they are, because whenever you see them, price always moves. So here we've got, you can see we had a buy signal, then we've got a green diamond. That means buyers, there's buy momentum, and sure, price rocks up. So I'll go through that a little bit more when I maybe look at the Dow, but whenever you see those diamonds, you can see there's a green diamond, price moves up. And so I've taken a lot of the noise out. But one of the key changes that I've made is with our boost signal. So this little explosion here, we call it a boost. It's like a trend boost. And so that plotted a little bit erratically, and sometimes it came a bit late for those who had before the update, they came a little bit late. And so they were a little bit erratic. So I've really fine-tuned them quite a bit. And so they will tend to pop off now very close to the buy signal. So if you look at the signal, I mean, price really flew up here. And so you can see that is as good as a buy signal. Of course, the buy signal is the main signal, plus that the green diamond also as good as a buy signal. When you get three of those popping together like this, there's only one way for price to go, and that's up. And the same applies. So here we have a boost down. So this is a very strong signal. This is what you've got to look out for. This is one of the second strongest signals you can get. We've got a bright sell signal, plus we've also got our boost. Remember, the green triangle means, the red triangle means now we've broken and we're with trend and we're back below the 15-minute time zone. So when you get a sell signal and on the same candle, you get your boost, price is going to drop. And so these now are very powerful. You will see, especially, you know, I love the 3-minute. I'm a real big fan of the 3-minute. And the 3-minute, these are very powerful. I mean, they work on everything, but especially on the 3-minute. In fact, let's just look, let me see what else I wanted to say quickly. Yeah, so when you see a rocket, so let's go to the 3-minute. Let's pop up the 3-minute here. And let's look back. Well, where are we looking here? Where are we? Where are we? Here we are on Monday. So let's just go back and look at some of all these icons, just give them some context, some of the new ones. So let's just start here. Where are we? Here's a nice signal. So the rocket. Now, we haven't changed how that rocket is plotted. So when you see the explosion, which is that icon there, it means boost up. But when the boost up combines with the diamond, my backtesting showed price normally has an extra move. And so when you see a buy signal with a rocket, it means, exactly that price is going to rocket up. And there was a nice, well, that's like 60 pips, 600 on gold, 60 pips on the NAS or Dow. There's always a great move. And so you can always be checking for little icons. So you're only going to get icons with trend. So here, for example, there was a pullback. There you get a boost and price moves. You could have stayed in that trade as well. There's a diamond. And so that I would have waited for that trade because you want this is pullback. That white line is pullback support and resistance. You do want price to break that. And so I would have entered on this candle and there would have been another great trade, another 60 pips over there. You could have taken a scalp there. And so when these align on the same signal, on the same candle, they're usually much stronger. So you can see how price move violently. So this is on the 3-minute on gold. We'll just look at some of the signals. So there was a great buy there. That was Friday evening. There was sort of a counter trend that would have opened there. I would have taken that down to the 233. There's 56 pips there. Then here we've got a buy signal with a boost. So I like it when often the diamond will plot one candle early to give you a warning that buyers are entering. So when I see a diamond before a signal, I'm focused, ready to press. There we have a buy signal plus a boost. I mean, that would have opened quite low, but anyway, there would have been another 60 pips in that move. Now, here's a good example that all you've got here is a boost. Now, this is counter trend. There's no counter trend signal, but I just want to show that even the boost signal can be treated as a sell signal, especially on the 3-minute. This candle would have opened there. If you'd stuck through the pullback, there was some risk, but there was still, almost 100 pips in that move down. And then now we get into range, so ignore the range. But then here's a good signal. So now we've got a bright red sell signal. Can you see the diamond warns you? That little red diamond warns you. Seller momentum. Sellers are trying to get in the market there. Buyers try to push the price up. Seller said, no, we're pushing it down. There's a bright red sell signal with a boost on the same candle. That's going to go one way. And there was another, 80 pip trade over there. Nice little counter trend. So we only want to trade with signals. That's the thing. Like normally there would have been some false signals amongst here. Just one sell signal, beautifully clean. They would have probably hit TP3. Then we get a little counter trend. I mean, I don't take many counter trends, but they're there. You could have got up from that counter trend signal. I'm just trying to show you how accurate this is. There's another quick 30 pips there. And here's a great signal. There's another bright red sell signal. This was 2:30 yesterday afternoon, and you got a boost on the same candle, and you can see that thing just fell off a cliff. There was, that's like 1,300 pips with gold measurement, but 130 on the NAS. And again, can you see how tight it is now? Normally there would have been some false signals here. And that's the key thing with this update is that when you see no signals, don't trade. All right, so there's nothing. It's clear, which means don't touch it. You could be tempted, but stay out. Then again, we get another sell signal. So there you get your diamond. That's as good as a sell signal. That red diamond means sellers are entering the market again. Again, you get sell signal with the boost. I mean, if you just took it down, you could have taken it in chunks. There's 38 pips there. Then there's a pullback. You get another diamond. Then whenever you see this is pullback support and resistance. So that line could tell you price may move up again. So I never jump in a trade until price breaks. And I would have entered, if I'd re-entered that trade, that's telling you, the diamond's telling you, seller momentum. And then you can see, wow, this would be a safe place to enter because at the same time, we've got triangle down on the oscillator, meaning there's re-enter the trade. And there's another move down. There's another 52 pips there. All right, would be a very rare false signal. there's a seller momentum, but you would not have got in there. That white line tells you no way, price is trying to pull back. Here's a good signal. You got seller momentum and a sell signal, not quite aligned, but we'd have had to look at higher time frames, that there's another 55 pips there. And it just carries on. I mean, there's a counter trend signal, would have opened there. I mean, there was 55 pips there. Then this buy momentum, I would have waited. Remember, this is pullback support and resistance. We don't enter trades on the wrong side of the white line. That's telling you there's buyer momentum. So then I always look at the oscillator. There's your entry point. You can see on the oscillator, the main bar on the oscillators is bright green plus triangle up. They would have opened there. There would have been a whole lot of pips. I mean, you could have just kept on making money if you were trading gold over this on this indicator. There's another 64 pips. And so again, there's another buy momentum jumping in. Here's another great move. Again, just showing how the indicator works. Whenever you see a counter trend signal at the top of the move, that's a good place to enter. I mean, this one just fell off a cliff. I mean, there's 130 pips in a pullback. Your safe entry, wait. You got seller momentum. You got to wait for price to close below the oscillator. And so I would have got in there. There was a slight pullback after that. It was on the oscillator. We got triangle down. So I mean, that would have been another great move. And again, here we go. You could have jumped in again. I won't bore you. Another diamond, seller momentum, boom, another drop. And so you carry on. You just look for the signals. You can see there's hardly any false signals. A few down here, but high time frames would have told you not to enter. And then once again, we start getting counter trend signals. And if you took that, I mean, you could have got another 50 pips there. Then there's range which we ignore. And I think now we're catching up to where we are today, Tuesday afternoon. So, I mean, that just shows you that there's plenty of pips if you stick to the rules. I mean, I've got my screen squashed. I mean, here was a sell signal on the 3-minute, and you've got a boost, so there would have been some pips there. There would have been nice 20 pips on that 3-minute signal. Of course, it never would have got to TP3 because of there's no space to get a TP3. I would have made my target the POC there. It's normally, you can see how accurate that POC is. Very accurate. All right, so that's like just a little overview. I want to just look, before I look at some of the rules, let's just look, there's a pattern that I want us to look at. Oh, look at this. This is looking beautiful. This is the 1 minute on the Dow. Some nice signals here. But I want to just go to the 3-minute now and just show you some patterns. So I want to look this morning because there's, I like to make declarations every day. And one of my declarations is I see patterns that make me prosper. So I'm always looking for patterns. In trading, the key is if you can see patterns, you will become wealthy. There's no doubt about it. It's all about patterns, understanding price action. I mean, if we just look at, this is before midnight last night, but we can see this trade, there's no buy signal because there's 2 counter trend, but look how accurate this boost is. You can treat those almost as buy signals. That boost means price is definitely moving up. There's a counter trend signal. I mean, that counter trend signal would have opened, let's just see how many pips. That counter trend, sometimes my measurement tool doesn't work. I mean, that went up, that little counter trend went up 100 pips on the NAS, 108 pips. And here was the open. Now, this is the strongest signal you can get. If you can see, for example, this is a buy. If the buy is bright green and you've got a rocket, I mean, price is going to rocket up. I mean, this would have opened way down here. I mean, I've got my screen compressed, but that was, 273 pips, that almost 300 pips, that move. So whenever you see bright, the same with sell, if you see a bright sell signal and it's got a rocket, then it's going to rocket up. Now, this is the pattern. This is a very common pattern. I do a lot of trades on the 3-minute, and it happened 3 times this morning. And so it's well worth looking at. So, I mean, I'm going to talk about one of the rules, and maybe you'll look at an example. But if you look at this buy signal, that is a good buy signal. If you look at it, I mean, what's for it is down the oscillator is bright green. We've got a triangle up. You've got a buy signal, and you've got a diamond on the same candle. We haven't got the boost yet. But hopefully, if you've been listening to the training, I would not enter at that point, although it's a strong signal for one simple reason. The angle of a SMA is pointing down. Now, if you can understand, now just think of the opposite for a sell. I'm just looking at buy examples. Whenever, especially, this is true for the 1 minute. I made one loss. I had 9 out of 10 wins last week. And the one loss I made was on a signal like this. I jumped in and I broke a rule. Like within 2 minutes of turning my computer up, I saw a bright buy signal. I jumped on the 1 minute and I got stopped out. I was so mad. And when I looked, what happened? I was still waking up. I hadn't finished my cup of coffee. The SMA was pointed sharply down. Now remember, price, this white line is key for price action. I never take an entry except for the loss I made last week when it's pointing down. Always wait, number one, always wait for the pullback and then wait for a reason to enter. So buy signal, now I'm wide awake. That is the wrong way around. The trend zone out of alignment, you got to wait for it to turn. And I would have entered that trade. Can you see first bright green bar I'm in? And that would have been a great trade. That trade would have gone up 184 pips. That was this morning. Maybe someone got that trade. That was at 3 minutes to 6. Now it happened 3 times in a row. Look over here. Can you see there's a strong buy signal? That's what suckered me and I made the loss. This is a very strong signal. Now, I mean, you could have risked it, but you would have got stopped out for the simple reason is that, again, the SMA is pointing down. So though everything is in favor, you've got so much lining up. That's why this rule number 2A for angle, always respect it. Then you got to wait for a re-entry. So I would have waited cautiously. I would have waited for the triangle up. So if you're patient, you could have got in here, wait for the triangle up. That's your re-entry signal, and up you go. And there's another 170, well, let's call it 180 pips on the Dow. That signal, you would have got in at 751. Now, the reason I'm drawing this out, I only enter trades on signals, and then multiple signals. So buy, sell, rockets, boosts, triangles, diamonds, all of those are valid signals. Even this line, the 55, this 3-minute trend zone, when that changes color to bright, that's a signal. Like over here, it would have gone bright. This would always lag slightly to the left. That's a valid entry. If you look at the 55, that candle, that is a valid entry. If again it goes dark for the pullback, it goes bright. You could have, even if you entered one candle late, I mean, you're getting to the top of the move and there's divergence, so it was risky. But again, if you look here, you got a buy signal and you got buy momentum, but this has really got a strong pullback. You don't want to enter there. Wait for the pullback. This candle would have opened somewhere down here. That would have been a safe entry. You can see for a number of reasons, oscillator, bright green, triangle up, and that candle, there was still a lot of pips there. So that candle would have opened somewhere down there. I mean, there was still, there was 86 pips. I mean, my screen is compressed, but this is what it would have looked like. You know, it was massive moves. And so just remember, don't be hasty. This rule number 2 is absolutely vital. Always wait for that to turn and be heading in the right direction. All right, so just some other things. I want to just reiterate. I mean, let's just see if there's an example here. When you see the lightning bolt, that means, I think I've gone over that. That means price has broken a previous demand zone. In this case, this would have been green. And when price breaks through, that can be a sign that price is going to move down. I mean, there was a big pullback. So those are pretty simple. Most of the times when you see one of those plotted, I'm trying to see if maybe we can just go back to the 1 minute here and have a look if there's an example, a recent one. Yeah, here we go. So there would have been, so here is a little bolt down. So there would have been a demand zone over there. So from that candle, it would have formed on that wick. There would have been a green bar stretching across. And then as price broke, that would have then plotted, and then price dropped, pull back, but there would have been some pips in that breakthrough. And the same, if you look, I'm trying to see with an example of a buy recently, but these delete to save space. So I think we're aware of those. So remember, when you see big wicks like that they've these demand zones and supply zones, we can see up here. Here's a live example. When you see a big wick, that means buyers are trying to push the price up, sellers are trying to push it down. And big wicks always end up plotting these zones. Price almost reached back up there. And then that's why we don't want to trade through them. So if you took this counter trend, and I wouldn't have put a take profit above that line, above that zone. And so these little lightning bolts plot to show that prices close below or above, and it's then safe to enter in and maybe get some more pips. So keep an eye on those. And just other things. People often ask me about these stars. So these stars are simply the high highs and lower lows. So you can see here that the low will always plot, the previous low will always plot as a red star, and the current high will plot as a green star. And then those stars will form as price rises, then they will stay. Now you can adjust them. I haven't really mentioned this much before, but you will see if you look under inputs and under where my stars hiding, they're lower down. So high highs, lower lows. There's so much. Here we go. Number of periods back is 20. So you can increase that if you want. So I find 20 is great for scalping, but if you could go back 50, you know, if you want to see what the high was 50 back, then it's going to plot, that green star is going to move. It'll calculate and probably move, well, if probably, sorry, you're still within 50, but you can make it 100, then that star would have stayed at that point. So, I mean, I find 20 is good for scalping. So that's something to remember there. But overall, you can see how much cleaner this whole indicator is. Very few false signals. So if we analyze, let's just look at some of the rules now for, let's see, what am I on now? I'm on the 1 minute and the 3 minute. So let's look at this sell signal here. We can see we got a sell signal. You can see prices going sideways for a start. SMA. So we went through let's look at those. We got 4 rules, which give us 5 points. So the rules are TASS. We just say TASS for short. The first one is for the trend zone. So we got a sell signal. We can see immediately something's wrong because the trend zone here is blue. And so we want the sell to look like that. Can you see that's a good sell signal? The trend zone was already turned around. Here we can see it's blue, which means that's gone to buy mode. Plus in the MACD down here, we can see that's completely in buy mode. And so we would not have got 1 point there. Then also look at higher time frames. If you looked on the 3 minute, okay, that trend zone is aligned for the sell, but we can see already the MACD is turned around and is heading up. So you would have maybe got half a point for the trend zone. Then the angle is important. Okay, the angle there is pretty flat. Here it was 10, you could have got 1 point. Was the angle was still down at that sell signal. So that would have been quite a hard one. And then in terms of space, well, the space rule would be 0 because you can see I would never take a trade with the take profit. TP1 is below the first band, you know, the first dotted line of the demand zone. So remember, this zone that's formed means buyers are waiting. So green is buyers. So you don't want to take a trade into a place where buyers are just waiting to press buy. All right, so then for the signal, you could have got a point for the signal because we did have a diamond. So any other signal, as I mentioned, it could be a diamond, it could be a boost, it could be a rocket, you know. So that would have been maybe a 3 out of 5, but high risk. Mainly the space would have made it a very high risk signal. So there wouldn't be one to take. Then let's look at this counter trend signal. So let's look at some of the rules for counter trends and have a look. Is this a good counter trend signal? This one's not bad. The only problem with this counter trend signal is that you would need a huge stop loss. So I mean, that candle would have opened there. Okay, not so bad. I mean, my screen's a bit stretched out. Would have been reasonable. It would have opened about there. You would have got a 2-to-1 easy. Yep. So stop loss, that was a good counter trend signal. I mean, look at our 55 is bright green. If you looked at a higher time frame, we can see that's a very good counter trend signal. I mean, one of the secret sources of this indicator is the main trend bar on the 3 minute. So at the 3 minute on that signal, look there, the bar is bright green. You've also got a wonderful bullish candle. Price has broken above the 233. And also we've definitely rejected this area where where our PRC was. So that wouldn't have been a bad signal. Wouldn't have gone far, but you got to grab some pips there. And so I think I've covered everything. I'm just looking to see what I've left out. I made a few notes, but I think you'll all agree that it's looking way, way cleaner and far, far easier to trade with. So again, you can see after the sell signal, there's hardly any other false signals. You could have re-entered there, little diamond, and got in there. And so generally, if there's also re-entry point potential there too with some pips, there are very, very few false signals, which makes it far easier to trade the indicator now. So I trust you got some value from all of this, and what I've said has made sense. I'm not sure, Ty, any questions? Do you want to come back to me?
Oh, just catching up on things in the chat and whatnot. Wayne was just asking, where would you have placed the stop loss on the Dow 30 on the last counter trend?
On the, I would for safety, I would have placed it here. So I said, so this one, we're on the Dow on the 1 minute. I mean, that would have been my safety. You know, sometimes I also place it with Heiken-Ashi. I place it at the bottom of the candle for a buy on the bullish candle, but I would have been safe here. But I mean, that was definitely going to move, because you can just have a look again. The safety of this one was the 3 minute trend zone was bright. So it would have been quite a big stop loss. That was my only worry. But the fact that that 3 minute trend bar was all in buy mode, plus look at the MACD. The MACD is just crossed over on the 3 minute. I mean, the MACD is very bullish too, and there's separation in the MACD, which means it's going to move up. I mean, of course, the wonderful part about this trade, if you were in it on the second candle, you would have got a nice bright signal on the 3 minute, would have maybe encouraged you to stay in the trade longer. So it would have been, there would have been quite a big stop loss, but I mean, I would have said that would have been a safe trade. Nice bright green 55 heading up. So hopefully that answers that question.
Good one. Jono's got a great question. So he's saying, it seems to me that several of the good signals are at the end of a ranging zone. For example, Saturday 9:24 on gold. So if you want to go to Saturday morning in the meantime.
Gold on what time? What time frame? The 3 minutes?
I'm not sure, but maybe just start on the 1. And I mean, it's always going to look cleaner on the 3 and obviously a little bit later. But the most immediate.
So what time on the 1 minute?
9:24 on gold. Then basically the question is, how do you know if it's a good signal and not just range continuing?
Okay, well, let's analyze that one. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, look, this is a good example to look at, because, I mean, this is a great signal, a strong signal. I mean, it has been rangy. But what would have attracted my attention is a number of things. Firstly, it's bright red, which means that's a strong signal. So we've got a bright red signal. We've also, on the same candle, we've also got a boost. We've got seller momentum on the candle before. But the key thing is this 233, which is the equivalent of the 15-minute time zone. This is extremely strong for rejection. So you can see how price just briefly broke through, couldn't really break through, came down, tested it again, tested it again, tested it again, tested it again, tested it again. I mean, if you think this is on now, this is on a 3 minute. So basically you can say for 36 minutes, now even further back, that's 14 bars. That's for 42 minutes, price couldn't really break through. And so we've clearly rejected that zone, that 15-minute trend zone, and it's red. That's what makes it strong. But also what would make this a strong signal is when you got time zones grouped closer together, because here you got the 55, which is the 3 minute, below the 15 minute with a signal, that makes it a very low risk trade. I mean, the SMA hadn't turned around, so you could have maybe waited. It wouldn't have been wrong to wait for that turn. But if you looked at a high time zone, if we looked at the 8 minute, let's just change this to the, let's just get the 8 minute. That would probably give us some good information at the time. Okay, here we go, here we go. 9, yeah, so it would have been on that candle. 9:20, this is an 8 minute candle. So as you got your sell signal on the 3 minute, can you see there was a diamond? So that means on the 8 minute, these signals are strong. I mean, there was a bit of a false signal there, a pullback. So always look in the high time frame. So it's telling you, look at this 55, definitely headed down. and you get a sell signal with a high time frame with a diamond plotting, would have made that a safe trade. So I wish I could just get my 3-minute. I've lost it
Just
now.
drag your middle screen further across. Is your middle one the one still?
Yeah, let me change it to 3 so we get that. That'll be the best. So I want to go back to Saturday. So where am I here? We're on Tuesday. I mean, we'll go quickly back to Saturday. Let's just line those up because it's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching paint dry on a 1 minute chart, range feels like an eternity. But,
Yeah,
45 minutes to an hour and 50 minutes-ish, maybe sometimes a bit longer. But for the most
yeah.
part, you're going to get that bigger perspective when you zoom
Yeah.
out a little bit. But keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, so there, I mean, that's what I thought. I thought that now the 8-minute would give us clarity. So we got a bright sell signal, which is strong with a boost. And if you look at the 8-minute at the same time, we've got a seller momentum plotting. Remember, the higher the time frame, the more accurate the indicator becomes. I mean, the 13 and 300 weren't exactly aligned, but it is pointing down. You could have waited. If you waited for the next key, you could have waited patiently. And look at that. Gee, that's still plotting. Look, that would have plotted also on the 3-minute, which is great. I mean, that's a strong signal. But look what's happening on the 8-minute. You've got a trend boost, and you've also got bright red in the trend zone, in the main trend bar on the oscillator. That would have made a very strong signal.
Here's an idea. John is saying in the chat, what would that 8-minute buy signal put you off at all? So here's a good idea, is just go through some reasons why not to take even on that 3-minute and that 8-minute zone. I mean, obviously the 55's pointing straight down, the 21's pointing straight down,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
8-minute. You're buying straight into, I mean, the 21 started to move up, I suppose, there.
yeah.
But
look,
you haven't got enough green on the oscillator either.
I know, and everything's wrong. I mean, that you're trading into a downtrend, and there's zero space. I mean, it's rare to get such a lame duck signal. I mean, that is just a terrible signal, but you can't eliminate all of them. So there would have been zero chance of taking that. With that clearly, downtrend with a 55, no space. And I mean, the oscillator is red, so that would have been a definite no-no.
Not enough confirmations to take it, basically. But that 8, yeah. Still, that overall trend you can see. I mean, that's the reality. There are going to be some signals that are not going to be an accurate go. But when you follow the rules in that sense, there's not enough going for that buy signal to be taken. All right.
All righty. I think I made a few notes. I think I've covered everything.
Cool. A couple of questions. Kat, just quickly, the official name of the trading on TradingView for the latest TF indicator. It should be TFI V2, just like you can see on Dad's chart there in the middle. TFI V2. So a couple of questions they're asking how to get the latest version. If you just delete it off your chart and go back into indicators, you don't have, Dad, if you just click indicators for kicks and giggles, there'll be an invite only tab, which you will have that Dad doesn't. He's got the original. Underneath community there, it'll say invite only underneath that. And in that invite only, you'll see all 3 indicators. So just re-add that to your chart and you'll get the latest version. That's basically it. That's the easiest way to get the latest. One more question there. Let me check. So Zeph's is asking about the space rule. Does it need to have space on both 1-minute and 3-minute? Like I wouldn't jump into a moving trade on the 1-minute if the 3-minute is heading toward a POC. Good question.
Definitely, yeah. Space. I always the rule applies. Always look at 3 time frames higher. So I definitely look. So I will never ever take a trade just looking at one time zone. So if I'm trading the 1-minute, I'm double checking the 3-minute. If I'm trading the 3-minute, sometimes I'll switch my charts around. So I just have 2 screens. If I trade the 3-minute, I'll just have the 3-minute on and the 8-minute to get high time frame confirmation. So that's a good question.
Cool. Mike Ustays is saying 5-minute sell on gold right now. Wondering what your thoughts are, presuming it's not a strong signal, but I guess on the 5-minute it's popping off. So then you'd have to look
let's go analyze that quickly. Okay, let me just make some arrangements here. So this is now, let's go to the 5-minute.
You can already see a bit of range there, the tops and the bottoms of what's happening and where price is moving between.
Oh yeah, look, that is high risk. I mean, straight into the POC. So, I mean, I'd like to change this. I'll change to the 15. So always look 3 time frames higher. Because high time frames bully lower time frames. Let's just get back to So let's analyze that now quickly. Where's that button here? Ta-da. Okay, so gee, there's a 15-minute, but look, that's going sideways. So that is not a strong signal. Or they even got a sell signal on the 15-minute. You rejected the POC. That's in downtrend. I'm just looking. You got a rocket, but this is the POC is the big problem here. And as well, I would not take a trade if TP1. I mean, that could break through and go right down. So I'm going to watch it. But you'd have to. I would wait until it broke, and then it's quite a late entry. So you're trading straight into the POC. So remember, if you're above the POC, it means there are buyers waiting here. If you're below, then the other way around. So I'm just going to watch it. I mean, the trend bars, just the short-term ones, just red. Not a strong signal at all. So I need to zoom out on the 15. What's happening on the 15 now? It's a rangy. Look at that. It's very rangy.
I mean, there's the potential that is a drop and then a bear flag potentially. So
Yeah.
you've got to wait for some structure, like a break of a trend line.
Yeah.
If you're playing that card and then looking for another low, like that green
Yeah.
zone down there or something lower where price might go to. And then on that chart, if that's a 15-minute chart, you might end up with a big double bottom, big structure reversal, and then potentially
Yeah.
back up. But I mean, that's in terms of entering on that particular moment right there. You have to wait for some kind of
Yeah,
market
it's going to have
structure,
to break that
BOS
trend
market
line.
structure.
I mean, it could, but I mean, look, it's very rangy. If you look at the 21, let's just blow that up so you can see it more clearly on the screen. I mean, that is not well aligned for a trade right now. I mean, the SMA 21 is kind of more up than down. So, but if it does break that trend line, I mean, look, we've got this trend line here. But look at the oscillators also bright green. So if you were trading the 5-minute, the high time frame would be quite risky. And it looks, say, I mean, this is very rangy. I mean, if you look here, there's not one full color candle all the way from, what time was this? From 8:15 this morning, every candle's been hollow, that's also a sign of range. Yeah, so this is, just this trend zone in the 15-minute is not good at all. So, I mean, look, price can do anything, but you're trading straight into this buy zone here, this demand zone. I would never take a trade with TP1 on the other side of a demand zone. But look, you got a 15-minute sell signal. It could drop, but for me, that would be too high risk. If that went bright red, could make it. I mean, we could just watch it. Because if it breaks this trend line on the 15, I mean, price could drop. But I think it's too risky. Look, we can see here. Look at all these wicks. I'm looking. If you always looking left is one of the signs of trading. There's a lot of wicks here, which means that means they're buyers. And so let's just look further back.
I mean, I'm looking at that MACD too and seeing higher lows on that MACD, so waiting for a lower low on price and then a possible reversal back up. But I mean, that's
there was
riskier perspectives, but I'm seeing that trend in that MACD at least there.
Yeah.
Wayne says, what about the sell on the Dow right now? There you go.
The sell on the Dow right now.
Dow and London sessions a little less lovely.
Yeah, no, that is. Let's see, I'm on the 3 there. Yeah, that is a no-no for me. I mean, for a number of reasons. I mean, basically looking 3 times higher, that is way too risky, no space. I mean, look at the 21, that angle is way up. That means, I mean, price could still drop, but I can almost guarantee there's going to be a pullback before price drops down. And plus, the zones are not aligned. I mean, ideally, the 55 you'd want above, that's below. And you're also trading into a big round number, 44,600. And so I'm trying to see the positives here. I mean, you have got some seller momentum on the 3-minute. But I mean, this is a no-no. I mean, the zones just are not aligned. If you can see the MACD on the 3-minute is still in buy mode, although the MACD line is turned around. So I think this one's going to reverse and go back up again.
There we go. Yeah, if you're only looking at that 1-minute chart and it's bright red in the 55 and it's breaking underneath and the MACD and the other zones all red, it's great. But here's another key point, guys. There's no other signals around the sell signal. So that's
Yeah,
also
good
one of the
point,
rules,
right?
right? Rule number 3, it's not just the sell signal, you need something else, like a diamond or an explosion, like a boost or rocket. It's only got
Yeah,
the one. It is bright, but it's missing, it needs more than that.
yeah,
And as soon as you look at high time frames, nothing about that 3-minute chart says sell me
yeah.
right now. Yeah, just checking. Zeph appreciated the timing of that, confirming his no entry. Love it, bro. Do you ever
Well
take a
done, Jeff.
trade? Marcus is saying, do you ever take? Sorry, and I think Warren. I read your name a second ago and I said Wayne. Sorry, Warren. My brain auto looking at the purple and the same as Wayne's purple. Marcus says, do you ever take a trade this close to an open? So someone correct me. Was London Open at 8 p.m. or is it in 4 minutes? You can tell I've been on holiday.
No, it's at 9.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
the
so
market opened at
yeah,
8, so
that's yeah,
there's
yeah.
normally a move at 8, but then the main open is now at 9 until daylight saving kicks in.
Yeah. I mean, and
So,
I would way more be inclined to looking at the NAS during London than the Dow, unless you're just in love with the Dow. It's just something
yeah,
I've,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that's just my preferences. But what else we have here? Let me check. Mo's asking, any chance you could take a look at gold at 124 today, 1324, sell with
Okay.
a rocket and a red diamond on the 8-minute. Okay, so just
What time frame we're looking at?
yeah, that's what I guessed. If it's 124, it'll be the 1 minute potentially with reference to the 8. Oh no, 3 minute. Okay, so look at the
Okay.
3 minute on gold today, 124, 1324 today.
Let's just
Sell
plug that
rocket.
in quickly. Hold it, this is still a 50. Let me go back to the 3. It's amazing how quickly it reloads now, this indicator. So we're looking at 120.
Further. There's a rocket on those. Yeah,
The sell at what time?
124. Sorry, 1324. That one. Yeah, that one. There
Yeah.
we go. And he was just saying that there was a red diamond on the 8-minute. Yeah, I mean, just comment on that range section there. So lots of signals. So you can
Yeah.
see when there's lots of signals all in the same place. Yeah. Anyway,
Range, and all the candles are hollow too. So it's rangy, and you can see the 55 is more kind of heading up than down. Although the high time frame is down, I mean, you can see there's the zones are not aligned completely. You've got the 15-minute, which is the 233 coming down, the 55, which is the 3-minute coming up. So there wouldn't, if we just looked at so what we're on here, the 3 minutes. So if we looked at so let's just get this back to the 3-minute at 124, where we're looking. It was that signal there. If we looked what was happening on the 8-minute at 124, let's just get back there. That would definitely give us the answer, looking 3 time frames higher. So where are we? You can see look. So that would have been about where we're looking, Ty.
sorry, I'm just catching up on text.
Yeah.
Question. I've got questions firing at me in 2 different
Oh,
places.
that's good. Now look, you can see there. I mean, look, that looking at the 8-minute, that would have immediately said no ways. Look at what's happening on that candle. Although there's a diamond, you're still very much into an up zone. You've got a POC down there, and you can see that. I mean, the oscillator it's more green. There's not a single bit of red on the 8-minute. And if you look at that signal at where's it this one 124, yeah, that's I mean the 8-minute's going the wrong way. So one of the rules is 3 times higher the angle of the SMA. This should be pointing the other way. So that would have been a very weak signal.
Good one. Yeah, so that's it. You're looking for evidence to confirm those rules. And yeah, once you start getting the rules baked in, guys, you'll just be able to look and go, nah, or yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, but that is I love it, guys. Good hard questions around
Good
rangy
questions.
moments, basically. But that's the more you begin to, in both of these examples of both questions, just get familiar with those high time frames. I mean, if you want to do what I do, like zooming out before I get started and looking at a chart with nothing on it, just candles, just structure, looking at the 1 hour, so maybe even the 4, zooming around, looking at where we are, and then from there zooming in, turning on the indicator and checking what's what. So,
Yeah.
guys, I'm getting a couple of questions in Messenger and whatnot. So if tonight you jumped on, I know some people are busy Googling and trying to find this indicator in TradingView. So it's private, it's invite only. Those on the inside, I think there's about 70 in our squad that have now been, testing this, but at the same time, been paying to use it. So we are reopening everything up. Plan is for a couple of weeks from now. now, maybe the end of Feb, is when we'll have capacity to take on, let me rephrase that. We'll have capacity to take on brand new traders at that point. Once I've got this course done up. But if you're watching this and you already know how to click the button, you're very familiar with trading to some degree, reach out to me and I'll let you know basically how to get access. So the main thing was for us that we only initially ever advertised this to our inner group that was already trading, so that Dad and I could focus on, keep developing this, getting it to the point that we're really happy with it, and work on, content for brand new people. But having said that, I know every now and then I do get reached out to by someone that's already got experience who would love to have access ASAP. And that is what got us over the line to share it in the beginning. We were only planning originally to launch this thing in February or March, but some people wanted access sooner who just wanted it. And I was getting phone calls saying, how can I pay you for this? And so we made a plan. So we'll make a plan. If you're keen to get access right now and you know what you're doing, then I'm sure we can get you in on it. Otherwise, we will have content for brand new people who know absolutely nothing about trading by the end of Feb, so that you can watch some foundations and then know exactly how to set up a broker account, how to link it, how to get a demo account running, how TradingView works, how all the things work, so that you're not scrambling trying to figure this all out on the fly. So that's the plan. Jono's saying it seems that the angle of the 21 often hasn't changed direction when some of the good signals appear. It's likely on a cross at the zones. Would you enter anyway if the other factors are positive? Good question.
Yeah, what I do is I always look to high time frames. So if I'm trading the 1 minute and the 21 hasn't turned around enough, I'll then look to the 3 minute and see what angle it's facing. Like there was a trade I did on the 3 minute, yeah, but the 3 minute hadn't quite aligned, but the 8 minute was completely in the right angle for the trade. But generally, if it's not aligned on the high time frame, just wait and then look for a signal. Almost every time the SMA, the white line, is not aligned, you will find you wouldn't have got either the boost or the diamond. Or down in your oscillator, it's not going to be bright, or you haven't got the triangle. So it's not a late entry if you're waiting for the angle, to the SMA angle to turn, and then you wait. So for example, here's a good example. You got a sell signal. I mean, that's not a bad signal, but the SMA is not quite aligned. So you could have waited. You could have waited until it turned there. You can see there's always a pullback. This is almost every single time. Sell signal. This hasn't turned around, and it's going to pull back. And then you wait, and you can re-enter when it's heading in the right direction. So there's no problem waiting for a signal.
That part right there was gold. It broke down, but then it pulled back into that zone, touched that moving average, and then, with the oscillator being the right color, the MACD separation happening, the separation on that trend zone, that then became money right there.
I mean, look, here's just another example. You can see that SMA has already made a turn here, and you get your first bullish candle. Can you see there's no pullback for that initial run? I mean, this SMA is really gold. That's one of my strongest rules. That's why we took the color out, made it white, to make it really stick out. So really follow that rule to be successful in trading.
Good stuff. Danny's got a question. I can tell this guy wants to take these trades on the fly. So with the alerts, what combination of alerts should we set up that'll give us a good probability to take the trade on the fly besides a buy and a sell signal? That's the magic question we all want to ask Willy Wonka, isn't it? We want to know exactly which two. I mean, if you're, Dad, good luck with that one.
No, that's a good question. I mean, if I was trading away from my computer, I would not even think about a 1 minute alert, because you get too many false signals on no matter what indicator strategy, 1 minute gives false signals. So that's why I did recommend, we did that session on alerts, I recommend the 3 minute is the minimum for alerts if you're away from a computer. Because the 3 minute, I mean, I can't remember the numbers, I did the analysis, but if you got 21 minute signals, there may only be sort of like 5 3 minute signals, so they're far more accurate. So stick to higher time frames, stick to 3 minute and higher. They're very my advice. Don't go too low. 3 minute is a minimum if you're not in a computer and you're looking on your iPhone.
Yeah, that's good. And it's I remember. I haven't been running alerts yet this year since getting back into the groove, but I used to have the 3 and the 5s, and when those two pop off very simultaneously sometimes. That's sometimes a good indication that price is exiting some range, I've noticed. But just honestly, guys, the number one way to test this stuff is to test it. Go back and turn off as much as you want and just look for on the 3 minute or the 5 minute, like, okay, there's X amount of signals during London or during New York or during the whenever you trade, and then look at all of those signals that go off and go, okay, right, there's like 5 of these signals in this time zone that seem to pop off consistently. What else is overlapping with this? How many 5 minute signals? And then just kind of look for those overlaps if you're looking for those on the fly zones. I mean, that's what we all want, right? The ability to just not stare at the chart for 2 hours and wait for the alerts. It's possible, but it is going to take getting very familiar with it all and being able to make a very quick decision. So Warren's saying there's a nice signal on the Dow right now. I know that we are getting beyond 9, so probably not going to do any more analysis now, but Thursday morning at 5 a.m. we will, and I'll drop that link in the chat, guys. So Mo's got a question about the oscillator is different to the one Tim's showing. Maybe remove it and re-add it. That question I get so often, guys. I'm getting texts about it all the time. How do I get the latest version? I've got TV1, TRENDFORCE version 1, whatever. The reason you've still got version 1 is if I update it on my end, so if I run an update in the code and I click publish, you will all instantly have access to the latest version. I will never tell you about a new version until you've actually got access to it. You just have to go and manually re-add it to your chart. So you'll have to delete version 1 or remove whatever's on your chart right now. Go back into indicators, click on invite only, click, and it'll actually say, like when we went from version 1 to version 2, that was a bit of a headache for me because I was relabeling an existing, like renaming an existing indicator and updating it as well. And it was a bit of a little scary on my end, but it worked. So basically then the obvious point was I've still got TRENDFORCE version 1, remove it, go back into indicators, and inside of that invite only thing, it'll no longer be called TRENDFORCE V1, it'll be called V2. So that's pretty much it. Same with the oscillator and the MACD. So when you made those updates 2 weeks ago, brand new MACD code, brand new oscillator coding, all updated for version 6 of PineScript and TradingView, all the nerdy stuff that Dad knows about that most of you have no clue about. But they're all 3 of them are brand new as of 2 weeks ago. We've made some updates to just the indicator itself, not the MACD, not the oscillator, in the last few days. So hopefully that is that, guys, for tonight. So you should all have some clarity on what all those signals look like and how they function and what to look for. And again, on the rules, TASS, we're going to get those into a document as well, so you can have a written out form of all of those again. But otherwise, guys, we should be good to go. We will see you on Thursday in our group. I'll drop the Zoom link in our group chat. 5 a.m. rock and rolling live analysis with Dad again and myself, and we'll keep it there, guys. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks again for joining us. If you jumped in with us tonight and you're not part of our squad, thank you for watching. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching us later on YouTube. Please do me a huge favor. Hit the like buttons on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Really trying to grow this thing and help as many people as we can. In the meantime, have an amazing rest of your week, everyone, and we'll see you in the chat. All right. Good night.